Hi, this is Ebuka Njoku. Here at the Creative Converse. So like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Creatives Converse again this week, and today I am having with me Mr. Ebuka Njoku, one of Southeastern Nollywood best director, producer, thespian, and a lot more. So today is a pleasure to welcome you to Creatives Converse, Mr. Ebuka. Once again, my name is Jesse Miracle, and I'm your host. So, Ebuka, I think a lot of people know you from the angle we know you. So, so it will be better if we actually explain this guy to the public, because there might be a lot of reservations and people want to clear the air. Maybe after this podcast, we'll get their questions for you. So, so you can answer. So those that know whether you're single or not, and then all of that. So who is Ebuka Njoku?
I would say Ebuka Njoku is Ebuka Njoku. Currently, I'm a filmmaker, but I could be much more or more later in the future.
Okay.
Because I think in the basic terms, I'm a storyteller. So, and film is not the only medium of telling stories. Tomorrow I could venture into fashion, I could do some stuff with sports, and a lot of, other things. But film is, where we are
The
starting.
principal thing. So what was it like starting up as a film person?
It depends on the starting up that that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Are you talking about starting up, the initial starting up of learning the craft, or starting up like making
I'm coming to the initial starting up of learning the craft. But now, what was it like getting into the industry proper? What was it like for you?
The first steps towards getting into the industry for me was I think 2012. I was tired of normal school things. I was like, guy, make I enter Lagos, see if I fit blow. But you know how it goes now. So a couple of years of trying, and it not working out. And I think it was 2014 that I got my first gig in the industry after winning one award around December 2013. So from there, I wasn't feeling the whole thing. So the first script that I wrote for the award was directed by Ebuka. So, and he did well with the film. So I think I entered the industry with lots of expectation. Then the next guy that would direct my stuff directed rubbish. Next person.
What's it back to zero?
So I'm like, okay. Then I would go to Nollywood script conferences for some of these big brands, and I wasn't feeling myself being heard. Like, they had all these rules. You cannot do this with a story. Nigerians don't like this kind of thing. You cannot. So 2 years into the whole thing, I think ending of 2016, I was like, let me this way. Carry me come here.
Okay. So now let's take it back a bit.
Okay.
What inspired you to the initial startup?
The funny thing, growing up I was a maths kid, like I sabi maths, so I think somewhere in my JS, when we are introduced to literature, so one of the days I bragged that I could actually write a novel. So the debate around the hostel went for a while, like, okay, so I took out some like B plus and wrote 6, and from there I started, then gaining more interest in literature, so to say. So by the time I was done with secondary school, I'd gone from writing a few novels to learning how to write poetry to becoming a fan of Shakespeare. Like I had this.
You always start with Shakespeare.
Yeah. So but then I entered uni. I never really saw myself as someone that could be a film person, so to say, because I grew up in Oka. The film was not really a
thing here.
So in school, I felt okay, maybe I could study theater arts, become a drama professor or something, do like showing and all. So, but then I joined the writing community. So they used to post stuff that we would write on one faculty board. So a classmate of mine had just gotten a camera and a laptop, and someone was teaching him how to shoot and how to edit. So it's like, if I learn this thing finish, I don't get everything I do is practice am.
Yeah.
So he read my stuff. I was like, guy, I don't know this department. Now you if you write this stuff. We argue and argue, and like spent over 2 hours. Him trying to convince me, to do this stuff under the sun, like cut So yeah, then I was like, okay. So I googled, I checked screenwriting formats and all of that, and because I started writing plays, so it was easy for me to like, So we tried that. From there, I got interested in directing, and yeah.
Now it's always the Shakespeare inspiration thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I read Merchant of Venice in JS too, and then as at then I wasn't really interested in the class novel Tempest. That was it. So Merchant of Venice, then my mom always does about Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
So I kept looking for that novel. Intentionally, our librarian hid it because it was a romance and emotional story. It was hidden. So we're having things like Tempest majorly, which was coming out in the exam. That Merchant of Venice, then Othello, and then the rest of them. Then I think the next place I found myself, because it was no volunteering, I just discovered that I ended up here was Press Club.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there in Press Club, we would do drama, Devil's Mailbag, and the rest of them. So
na big way.
Normally. So Press Club was there. So drama became a thing. And then I know a lot of young persons fall on this bucket. Unfortunately, the ill stories militating the industry currently does not allow parents give their children the kind of support some of us had. I had a few support from my mom, but not my dad. As a matter of fact, my father flogged me for acting a thief and was caught.
Wow.
He was that great.
Wow.
He said his annoyance is not just that I acted a thief.
Yeah, caught.
Then I was now caught. How do I steal myself? Now most times when your acts come to manifest in your real life, so at the end of the day, he's the father of a thief, and then you have to come and
in real life.
So that aside, with how far you've come, do you think, or what is your take on people paying their dues in Nollywood? Because this podcast is purely around Nollywood. What happens here, how to solve it, and the rest of it. What's your take on people paying their dues? Loyalist or not? I will still pump a lot of things inside that, but then what's your take on that?
I mean, I feel, apart from Nollywood, like in real life, you have to pay your dues. I know the funny thing I've discovered, you keep paying them. Like, it's not like, it doesn't get to a point where you say, I'm done paying my dues. You would actually, till the day you go there your dying bed, you go still pay your dues. You get, because I mean, the industry needs a lot of building, and also, just like every door needs a key to open it. You get, and a person will do you well, you go give the key. It's like I mean, so basically it's natural. You just have to pay your dues. It's life.
Okay, I have a couple of troubles on my table, and I'm going to cite some examples.
Okay.
Now, somebody thinks because I brought into the industry, I introduced it to people, I should dictate your life for a long period. As a matter of fact, a young girl in Enugu told me practically that a particular boss she served started calling people to stop giving her job just because they had a misunderstanding, and she was ostracized in the Enugu entertainment society just because somebody she was loyal to or she is loyal to thinks he can take that, and the person keeps telling her you must pay your dues, and then these dues most times we know what happens, especially when it comes to the opposite genders.
I don't see dues.
So these dues can come both in those demands and then sometimes in encroaching in one's personal lives and all of that. Some will even tell you, one of the cases I have currently is these cases of people tell you, this job they're supposed to pay you, I told them they're going to pay you 10,000, but what you bring back to me is 5 and take 5, and they think it is their right, and currently it is killing these children. It is killing the students day by day, and we have a lot of them hanging around, perching around. They don't have any hope of jobs because they feel the way I paid this to this person is not enough for that reason. That's why they didn't give me a job. And we have, so where do we start coming from?
So I mean, it's a tough industry, yes, and I mean, me myself, I know the things that the kind of requests people have made of me, and so. But the truth is, uh, if you have talent, if you are talented and you are hardworking, you find your way around. No matter like there's no industry where everything is,
Easy.
yeah. So I mean, there must be something. Now you go give person the impression, say he own you before the person go begin feel he own you. You get like you know be every artist if you tell that rubbish now. You get so you are only like in the way I see Nollywood, because most of these brands are not actually run by criminals. They're normal people. So you can actually tell them like call up their bro and do your stuff. You get I mean, and we have we have different courts in Nigeria. You can actually sue people. I might be starting next year suing someone actually. So I wrote this stuff for someone a couple of years back. So they shot some episodes of it and put it on YouTube and use someone else's name. And the project is now on a big platform, like it was now taken up by a big platform. So I'm just taking my time to like understand the details of each part of my stuff that was used before I could so it's you can't just keep crying about stuff happening to you in the industry where I mean if you feel that people are taking go to court, and so I mean who has the right to tell you like you allow it happen?
It happens. And coming to a community where the said judiciary system was the last hope of the common man, which we know what Nigeria is today, being frank, it might not really be the hope of the common man. A lot of people are restrained to approach the courts. That is the honest truth.
So the thing is, okay, like I could give you, if I start talking about some stuff that happened when I was trying to distribute my film or not, if come up for it. Yeah, like it got so bad that one of the cinemas in the east, they removed it after week one because they got an order from their head office to remove it. Not like the film was not doing well, not like people were there, you get, and a couple of other stuff. Like sometimes you come to a cinema where they have 2 screens and they use the terrible ones for Nigerian films. So like there are lots of things that don't make sense that are happening in the industry, but you accept what's like what now waiting you accept go they go on for you. By the time you say I'm done with this bullshit, you always find your way. Like I've been in some situations and I know like you always find your way.
Okay. So before we get into marketing, now in paying dues, sometimes I don't really pay much concern about the actors. Because I feel as much as stars are the face of the film, the crew is actually the main body work. And in an industry where there is no really standards for certain things, as it stands, there is, let's be factual here, Nollywood as it is today, there are a lot of things that are supposed to be, but they are not. For example, you just mentioned cinemas. Our relationship with cinemas, say example, Viva Cinema, is who I know. Say somebody does not approve my movie and has a contract or maybe a tender somewhere that includes cinemas to accept it. I've had bad experiences with cinemas, and because Viva seems to be the only notable one here that we know. I know when Diamond Cinema was existing, I knew what their services were like. So if we want to go cinema, it's really not going to be.
I feel most of the cinemas coming to the east that are getting it wrong because they're seeing cinema from a Lagos perspective, They don't want to, like, it's like you see a business going on in the US and you want to bring it to Nigeria without studying Nigeria. It won't work. So you like, I mean, there's a cinema in Oka, like one of my favorite cinemas down here. It's Miller. It's owned by someone who has done business in Oka, so I think he understands the terrain and it makes it easy for him to keep. And he also maintains standard, and he works. So for any, like, all those cinemas that when they come, you just go there one or two times, you figure out whether they're here for business or they're just here to play. And most times they're not serious. But those ones that are serious, because some weeks ago, someone was talking about opening a cinema somewhere in the east. One of the big men in the industry were like, "That's a terrible business venture." But the truth is, no one has actually come like and studied the east and said, "Okay, let's," and failed. They just don't study us enough, and yeah.
Wow. So now,
Okay.
let's still touch
The
this.
crew. Okay.
Scratch this.
Okay.
What I feel
Yeah.
for the East
Yeah.
is mostly
Yeah.
substandard school.
Okay.
Anybody can argue anything,
Yeah.
of course. But the truth is, we have substandard crew members.
Yeah.
You have a situation where the director doesn't even know his job.
Yeah.
You just mentioned the person that directed the second job. I don't want to talk my experience with directors anyway. But then, in this, we still have this comparison that happens in the Southeast. You hear somebody say, when it comes to this kind of film, Lagos cannot beat us.
Yeah.
When it comes to this kind of film, what's your take? Are we really there? Because now we know good movies. Nigerians know good movies. It's not those days where you have to go to film, I do go the giant queen and the rest of it. It's no longer that era. It is time where people can tell you that your film is good or bad. As much as Nigerians do a lot of tear down that criticism, but then we now know that we have an audience that is intelligent, not as dumb as watching anything for fun. What will you take the Southeast entertainment industry in general compared to where we are looking at what we see in Lagos and other, because now Ogun State is part of it, it is part of it. You need to see northern movies too. I saw one I watched the last time. There's one again somebody recommended that was shot in the desert recently. They are northern movies and they are massive.
So I feel in the grand scheme of things, we haven't really mastered the art of making film in the country. You get. So what's happening to Southeast in terms of media and entertainment is basically a reflection of what has been happening in Southeast in general, as it's well in Nigeria. It's I'll have to delve a little bit into the Civil War. So prior to the Civil War, Nigeria as a country had like a kind of like common enemy and common voice because they needed to like push the enemy, to do it. So then after the war, after the once we got independent, the war now happened and now broke off. So it stopped becoming an issue of coming together to develop or fight. So it now becomes an issue of I'm better than this guy in this thing, and all of us are all suffering, but we are just doing a better past my neighbor. So Igbo people want to feel that okay, the Yorubas might be good in this, but we are better in this. Yoruba people now, Hausa people, so it's and it's also happening in the film space, because the truth is, what I'm more concerned about is how do we get to make better films in this country? Because we are yet to start making great films in this country. It's usually we have this group of people who make certain kind of film. It's like Nigerian film from like European or perspective. They sometimes do well in film festivals, but people can't connect to it. Then we have these people who are doing well, like people are getting the views, but the film can't really travel. So my vision for Nollywood is where we come down to that period, we come up to that period where you see Chinese kids, American kids, European kids sit in their film, in their parlor or whatever, and watch Nigerian films and tell their classmates to watch it, just like what they do with music. So even though I work from the Southeast point of view, my vision is big. Like how do I explain this? There's something Zeke says. He says, even though he sees himself as an Onitsha boy, he also sees himself as an Igbo person, a Nigerian, an African, and most importantly, a citizen of the world and a person of his own. You get. So even though I am an Oka boy, I'm an Igbo boy, I operate from Southeast, but I don't see my film as a Southeast film. I see my film as something for any place anybody from anywhere in the world. I have to make them in my language because they are expressions of who I am. You get, and I have to come down to the East to be making film because I grew up here. Most of my stories come, but I believe that
it's for the global audience.
Yes, you get. So once we as a people, whether you are operating from the East or from the North or wherever, have that perspective. I mean, if I like start seeing more money from films, I could also meet a Yoruba filmmaker. I'm like, okay, I like this your story, make your film. How do we, I could also do that with, even go beyond Nigeria, do some collabo with Ghanaians or SA, Americans do that shit, So, yeah.
So, where do you think we need more work? In storytelling?
Okay.
In now, every Yoruba film, just like what you said, projects the Yoruba personality. This is who they are. This is their identity. This is their culture. And this is gaining global.
But they can do better though.
That's the point. Where do you think we on this other side, telling our own stories as Igbos, where do you think we need to start stepping up?
Okay. It's basically I say this sometimes as people look at me like Nollywood has an identity problem. You get, especially so in the East we also have that. How many films made in the East can as you get? So Ima, if you not good, like first of all we need to calm down and study Afrobeat. It's the first art form in Nigeria that has gone global, like in terms of global. Between the last 10-15 years, we went from if you're Nigerian and you get to an embassy and ask to take more than they'll set the next person. Now it's an issue of the person who wants to recite one Nigerian song for you, or trying to tell you that he knows the video or whatever. So that is that is the level where our film needs to start getting. You get, and for it to happen, what happened in Afrobeat also needs to happen. Where our music started going from back in the years where Mode 9 we use all the grammar in the world to do rap, But once Olamide entered and so that is where our film has to now get to, like understanding of film as an element to like express myself, to celebrate who I am. You get. I said something about the Yorubas not really getting it right, because I love that they're doing the epic thing, you get, but they're still telling it from the perspective where they're how do I put it, still painting the culture negative to an extent.
Okay, yeah.
You get. So I wouldn't want to use the same as an example because I love the film. Like Seven Dolls, yeah. So basically, this guy who wants to live forever goes to meet a Libya to do whatever, So it's connecting, it's demonizing what you can do with juju. But juju in its essence is their own science of, things before,
Let me get the picture here. So because intentionally I opened the first scene of that movie and I just paused it. 7 doors.
Yeah.
Because I had seen Suspicion.
Yeah. Okay.
And I could tell. For me, Suspicion was a more balanced story.
Okay.
This is somebody trying to put technology and juju together and then getting solutions. Although he already lost his friend. And the fact that they were painting the Deltan Igbo.
I'm yet to see that.
Yeah, just like a song from the dark too. A song from the dark is equally a Deltan story. It's painted a better picture for me that as much as we are trying, I just like you said, I have that problem. Anytime you see a native doctor in an Igbo film, trust me,
you know that somebody's about to die.
So it has always been bad. And the likes of Mazi Dibia, Zetobe Osigwe has been clamoring for these things, that the Igbo culture and tradition is not known for evil and harm. Because once you see a Dibia, there is a Nollywood soundtrack that comes to your head. Even if it's not in that film, you remember it. And the next thing you expect will happen. So I get that picture where demonizing the culture that we are promoting is a problem. Now, where do we start solving this from? Because it starts from our story.
I mean, okay, we are doing posts for our new film, Ebuka Christmas. It's like the first experiment towards what I feel Nollywood might turn into the next couple of years. For Afrobeat, one of the things that also helped Afrobeat to grow this fast is technology. So with technology, it came down to, once we started having softwares and apps, it came down to have the right software, the right laptop, and a good mic, and you could record a song of the same quality as the ones people are spending millions of dollars to be in America or pounds in the UK. Once that happened, you could see guys where they their mama house for ghetto or their friend house for somewhere or university students doing something that anywhere in the world you listen to it. It measures with every standard of music you can think of. So once that happened, Afrobeat started flying. Of course, you can't deny the adverts and the marketing PR that's been happening for years of them trying to take Nigerian artists to other parts of the world like show and all. You can't deny that, but technology just made it easier. So now in film, I keep telling people, like, this is the best time to be in Nollywood. Like, this is the best. Like, if you want to make money from media or Nollywood, this is the best time, because technology has now made it a little bit cheaper. You get. Now with your phone, you can make a film, and now with what YouTube has, you don't need to be crying about distributor telling you this and all of that. You have the time, the patience to build the platform, you get, and you have the skill to tell a story that can attract people. Those are just, so what it means is that in the next 2-3 years, you have university students, probably from which one, if you start from there, using like about 500k or 1 million to shoot a film that you still look at and you could say this is dope. Maybe you might judge the lighting for being too, you get, but you could still, with the right sound and everything. Once it gets to that point, bro, we think they come out from Hollywood could shake.
Because there is a lot of talent and skills hidden, but they don't have access to this.
Yes, and also we also have to come to that consciousness that it's a money thing. You get, like, like I hear people say, my friend is not supportive because I wanted him to help me in my project and show. But you're not making your friend any deal apart from trying to emotionally blackmail him because you're friends. You're not telling him, guy, okay, I'll use your camera, you also cinematograph for me, and I'm giving you, even if it's 1% or 2% stake in the film. You get, he's a busy person.
That's a plane of collaboration.
Exactly. So, but we would rather judge it as, oh yeah, please come mad, or just let help on in my project. But you're not making him a deal. You get, so we will have to accept that this is a business, and for business to work, everybody that is investing has to. Exactly. You get, like every film that I've made, I've produced, I make sure that at least 1 or 2 of my friends who are doing heavy things for me get, even if it's 1%. So when that happens, it's no longer just your film, it's our film. You get. So when you think in terms of that, So it also like it's just understand that it's money and service. Like for every service you are getting, you have to be ready to pay for it. It's either you are doing it directly now or later. And you also understand that if you're expecting someone to give you money to make your film, you are not just saying thank you. You have to find ways to make the film make money so that you know.
Now that brings me to marketing.
Yeah.
It's our problem.
Yeah.
Improper marketing.
Okay.
Or bad stories. For example,
in Nollywood or in Southeast.
Now, we are trying to compare what's happening in Lagos and what's happening in Southeast, because the whole plan is putting Southeast in a map of entertainment globally through film and other forms of entertainment that we have. And today we're talking film. It's our problem bad story or bad marketing. Because as good as some stories are, I will say one. I already said this. Somebody chatted me up and said she was disappointed at Ife. I love that story so much because one, Nike Lake was explored. Anybody who doesn't know the interiors of Nike Lake would see that movie and would want to go there. Are you getting it? Now the story of Oba was made. So somebody now hears Oba else will be like, oh, it's an African food made in Enugu State. But then somebody said, I hate this film. I said, why? He said, how can you reduce a full engineer, and the person saying this is an engineer, and a woman, that there was no other thing she could do simply because she was rejected from engineering work. And then we just sent her to Oba. So to her is a bad story. And then I don't think the marketing of the film was enough for the audience it was targeted for. For sincerely, I saw it in the film festival, Coast Film Festival this year. So it's our problem, marketing, compared to what Funka Kindele is doing, what Kunla Fulayo, even Adeboye now. It's where is it more concerned to the Southeast?
I'll say both. Like for Okuko Christmas, we had issues with getting the right writer. That at the end of the day, I had to spend some time being, more involved in the process. Even production, like I thought it was just a project where the much I would do is the business end of things. But over time, I found myself having to
pre-production,
even down to post, because we don't have enough returns. We have to come to terms with that. You get from some crew members even understanding a script. From you have a good script, but just having enough people who understand it to make it work. You get. Then marketing it's a tricky thing, because in the grand scheme of things, we only adore the outspread marketing. I tell people, okay, I'm not. Do you know this film? What's the name of this film? Breath of Life.
Yeah.
If they tell you how much went into the marketing of the film, you will not believe. But it's not paying every this thing to come on social media and kind of marketing. It was billboards. It was all those things that what's it called? Prime was doing to. They even did a watch party or something.
Yeah.
Because of it alone, all those things, and then other, So, but Funka Kindele is not there are other, and then but what happens is we look at the big guys and we feel that that's the only thing that marketing is. You get. So I think Flavor in one of his interviews was saying something about how they marketed his first song, that they would meet bus drivers and give them the CD and give them small money so that they would play it repeatedly in their car, and a couple of other small things. They didn't have money, but they understood that we are putting out a product out here. One way or the other, we need to get the first level of listenership to give the project a chance to blow. You get. Another thing that I feel that is also spoiling things for us down here, it's an Igbo adage, and I hate to attack an Igbo adage because, but is we say that after man alone, you get. So most people believe that, and in the grand scheme of what business is, it doesn't happen. He gave us a laugh film before level. You get. You have to place it in strategic places so that it draws the first audience. Now that first audience where your marketing attract you. Maybe if now it's a good product, it will now just start spreading. But the first natural audience doesn't is that usually not that natural. So you don't really need all the Funke Akindele's money to like do good marketing.
Aside the money Funke and other persons, to for example AY. Come on, this is the waiter. We have really waited for the waiter. Simply because AY won't let anybody rest. The pressure, the energy, the effort. In fact, he even started a full-blown glass house podcast. Are you getting it? Now we know from the time of AY's script, it has been like that. It is hard to mention one person in the Igbo sector, for example, and this is not being tribalistic, but that puts that amount of energy in marketing what I go do. That sometimes I used to think they don't even have confidence in what they produce.
So, okay, you mentioned the DJ. That's a low budget film. I'm not even sure the budget of that was up to 10 million. So, and for a producer that can spend only the amount that they spend, and even they got some government support and all of that to make it work, you can imagine the struggle even getting to get a distributor. So the distribution alone would probably be close to 10, if not more, for them to get it to the cinema. Then they did a premiere and all of that. So you said something about the woman not liking it. How do I put it? So sometimes people's perception of films sometimes are not dependent on the quality of the film. So it could be a guy that just hates short, a girl that just hates short guys, and there's this short guy in a romance film, and it's just not working for you because the guy is short. His lines are good, but you go out and they don't get chemistry because your fantasy alone has already spoiled whatever you get. So judging how good a film is from that perspective, it's so sometimes what people say about the film doesn't actually. The most important thing is that someone watched it and felt that the film is worthy of his time to even talk about it, whether positive or negative. That's the way I see it. But for marketing, we are still scratching. But there's this guy. I think Ben actually does. It's actually very very intentional with marketing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm still being on this end that I don't think we do even the basic
with the level of fund that Ben has access to. Ben is actually a marketing genius. Like if Ben has a film coming to the cinema now and has up to 10M to do marketing for it, when he does the marketing, they feel like saying at 20-30M.
Yeah, you need to start to cheat on people because to be sincere, you did Uno.
Yeah.
Okay, before Uno, let's do the blockbuster.
Uno wasn't well marketed,
Yeah. Let's talk about Yahoo Plus.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was hearing of this guy called Ebuka Njoku.
Yeah.
And then, to be sincere, till date, I've not seen the movie. I only watched the thriller.
Yeah.
But then, the way everybody talked about, I was like, what was put in this movie? Now, a friend told me it was about the timing. Okay. That was one.
Yeah.
It was coming the time that the Yahoo Plus itself was really in vogue.
Okay.
Now, what was your own plan? Because aside pushing for the big boss, Netflix, what was?
So it was an issue of I knew it was a make it or break it for me. Because I knew I wouldn't have all the money in the world to make my first film if I was to have full creative control, because it matters to me as a filmmaker and producer. So it needed to be a small project that has potentials. And I knew, like, I've always, like I think from 2015 I was at one Goethe Institute killing, and someone asked me, who do you make films for? That was the first time anyone had ever asked me that. I'd been learning how to make film and doing small projects for like years until. So ever since that day, I started being like yes, about who I make films for. You get? Yeah, I make film for the world, the average person in the world, but directly, yeah, Yahoo Plus was made for female audience, like people who are into Igbo hip hop.
Yeah.
If you fall into that category, you go catch them. So when the film came out, and I mean some critics didn't like it and all of that, my own was, if I meet that guy where they live furniture, where they like between 16 to 30, we watch him and you talk say you no like him, I feel like the film has failed. You get, because those are the people I was making the film for. You get. So the most important thing is, like, when you understand it's a product, so you start, for each product you make, you have to ask yourself, who am I making this for? Honor's issue was an issue of funding. We were expecting some kind of funds to come to help do some of the plans that we had, and it didn't go through, and it was at the late, so we couldn't push the dates and all of that. But I mean, there are lots of things I wish I could have done different when it comes to distributing the film.
So aside the fund,
yeah,
this you just said that is funny, because I've asked one producer one time, aside the fund, what else? He said it's the fund that you just kept aside.
Yeah.
So, but then,
yeah,
what are those? We know that our audience is expectant.
Yeah.
And then sometimes,
Yeah.
if not most times, we don't read their expectation.
Yeah.
We always neglect that.
Yeah.
We put our creative vision and perspective and force it down.
Okay.
Could this be part of our major challenge? Because people are beginning to be choice about what they watch.
Yes. I mean, it has always been like that. Like, I mean, you just have to build your own audience. Like, don't even call it audience, call it tribe. Build your own tribe. Like, I've seen Jennifer, everybody loves Jennifer. If you are not a fan of Jennifer, the film might not really mean much to you. But if you follow Jennifer from day one, or even if that 2 years ago where you catch up, become fan of Jennifer, when you watch the film, guy, you become more of a fan. You get. And I think she knows that. You get. So they know that they are targeting Jennifer's fan. You get. So who are other people that can come in to make it work? And so I feel when you come out with a project, think it down. Like, don't even think of it in terms of just cinema and streaming. No, that's easy thinking. Like, think it down in terms of what can this product be in the next 10, 20 years for me. That is where I think about all my films. Yes. Like, in the next 20 years, Yahoo Plus is still going to be like relevant. Maybe in a different form of relevance, but it will still hold some relevance.
Yeah, because all those Oboni and Okoti films we watched in children, they're all gone.
Yeah. And also, if you're a very intentional filmmaker and you understand PR down the line, no, it's here where you go on the PR of some of your old films. Business will do it. So it will now give you more relevance for some other thing that is also working around that period. Like, see Tyler Perry for an instance. Tyler grew up with his grandma.
Yeah.
A black American Christian.
Yeah.
So you notice that while they were growing up, his grandma and their friends, they usually like go cinema, go watch film, because to them what cinema was serving was too dirty for Christians that they were.
Yeah.
So when he started making film, he was focusing on the people who he understood, his grandmas, yes. And it turned out that apart from those black American Christians, there are also black Christians in different parts of the world. So if you're a black Christian, you definitely connect to his film, even though they are not really too much Jesus. But he understands that tribe, he understands their characteristics and stuff. So the thing about audiences, first, you need to know why you are making film. who you are making it for, and then also understand that people change. So the audience that probably wanted to, okay, like in music, Olamide had gone from being that I divergent the street kind of guy to his kind of music is now something that a 30, 40 something year old can easily relate, because he's noticed that he can't compete with the younger guys for
For their
15,
age,
16,
yeah, kind of
exactly.
song.
So he's now, even people like Flavor are now also doing it, because the people that pay him now are not all those club people. They are now big men who could just be like 10, 20 in a room and just leave it to, like, you have to feel you get. So it's not like, that's what I told you, like, you don't stop paying dues. You have to always, you get. So my target audience as a filmmaker is number one, young Igbo audience. And that young Igbo audience go beyond people who actually live in the East, because there are Igbos in different parts of the world. You get. And in the grand scheme of things, people who are actually pro-black, like pro-black culture. So from the dialogue to the production design, all those elements that if you fall into that group, you can connect. I have to put it in the film. You get. And also do some other things that I feel might make the film live long term, so that over time, even if you get to watch it 10, 20 years time, it will still, and also I plan my characters in such a way that tomorrow I could pick up this character and use it in another film and it will still work. You get. And I could still pick up this what's it called, the idea of the film and put it in another world, and it could still work, or transform it into something. I'm always open-minded with that, with everything I do.
Okay, so now that we've been able to establish marketing as presenting your work to be acceptable.
So basically, okay, someone define marketing as the stuff that you have to do to get your product to people who need to see them. It's just that, like, if you're doing a good product, I think you have a great product, and there are people for it. You just need to help them find it. That's what marketing is.
Now let's do distribution.
Okay, distribution. Okay.
Because after marketing, YouTube is there. That is if you're producing for YouTube. What happens? Okay. Because I think now everybody, maybe not everybody do, but majority is clamoring for box office. We want to make 2 million views. What is it like? What was your challenges distributing your films?
So Nigeria, everybody knows that, of course, Nollywood has a structural problem. And also, I mean, if you check the list of your highest gross Nigerian films, you notice that there are films where the distributor is one of the executive producers or producers. You can check your film. So what that means is, for you to be able to do film of certain level, you have to be in bed with a Nigerian distributor. As long as you're doing cinema or Netflix. Okay, maybe Netflix you can do film festivals and evade them. You get.
Somebody said recently that Netflix is not planning to leave in Nigeria because they are not making money. But because greed of people inside the system is making it die.
I wouldn't. I mean, it's so. Actually, actually, one kita abaya ajafa. There are countries where Netflix they lose money. But till tomorrow, they wouldn't say the kind of things that they say or about. We have to understand that there's this political, so I'll just try to get it. So the thing is, when we talk of structure,
can we point the political aspect and then bring a solution?
Okay. So the thing is, there's the rich, there's the middle class, and there's the poor. You get. So when you're rich, you get. You have access to media, you have more access to things. So whatever you pay the poor guy to be is what the poor guy is. You get. Then Nigeria has a structured program. You get. And sometimes it could just be you not understanding how to keep your legals or accounting book well. Yes. And just you not understanding or being like having enough structure to be able to work with a big brand like Netflix. So sometimes it's not actually greed. Sometimes it's just the balance and learning curve.
Is it really a balance in learning curve? Because sincerely, Netflix has no independence in industry, so to say.
Okay.
Netflix office is inside Film 1.
Okay.
So if I am going to go to Netflix, automatically.
Are you sure about that? I don't.
That's a fact. I'm just painting a picture here.
Yeah.
If I have to get to Netflix, I'm either going through an agency or through Film 1.
So it's Film 1 is not the only. If we make it look like they are the only. There are at least currently now in the country there are at least 5 distributors slash aggregators who can get to Netflix in Nigeria. Film 1 is just the biggest. Yes. And you know why I'm not scared of any, like, it's 10 years ago they were not the biggest.
Sure.
10 years from now it could be another distance. You get. So, and for you to be in the position where Film 1 is, yeah, to keep time, to keep money, to keep branding, to keep lots of things to be where you are. You get. And let's not forget the fact that Nigerians, it was Film 1 that actually started teaching Nigerians how to package films. To an extent, you know, I don't know, like our film sound used to be so terrible before Netflix came. Yeah. So, but it was an issue of, okay, we're trying to sell this film to these brands, and they're not welcoming it because of some of this thing. So sometimes you have to even build studios that will help you finishing up or collaborate with some studios, and so those are the things, you know. So that's why sometimes when the conversation about distributors come, I am not quick to say this and this, you get, because there's also that learning curve that every producer needs to also do when it comes to distribution. You know, first-time business person think it's all products. Mid-level business person think it's all marketing. When you are there, you understand that it's distribution. Yeah. So the most successful film business people are those who think distribution even as the script they come. You get. And most producers, now when they already make the film,
it's content about.
You get. So if you are Film 1, you have to also deal with all of these. You get. You have to also deal with the fact that you are seeing the figures for Nigerian distributors. They know the figures. So to an extent, a point comes when you start feeling like you know everything because you're seeing the figures. You get. And sometimes some producers don't even see the figures or even understand the figures enough to want to be on the same understanding level.
Some actually think they are making money for the cinemas. They tell you it's distributors that eat our money.
I think popcorn and drink probably makes more money. Food and beverages make more money from cinemas than cinema tickets. I think. Unless it's not in Nigeria, but I think in some places, many places in the world. So the cinema businesses, but the truth is, if I were like 19 or even in my early 20s making film, I wouldn't give two fucks about cinema because it's dying. You know how some years it was theater, where people they go watch film. There was a time it was novel. Cinema is dying, and every year it's how Nigerian distributors manage to keep our cinemas alive. It's a miracle. So sometimes you can distribute. I mean, we have lots of structured programs. Like sometimes I had sometimes you go to watch Ono and they'll tell you that the film is not showing because they wanted some other film that they're distributing. You know. So sometimes it's not even them. It's just the cinema in question have timing issues or experience suddenly develop issues, or they were sending the drive from one place to another, and it was just so you hear all those stories when you're distributing Nigerian films. So it's not like they don't have their, but just like we are also trying, they are also trying.
So lastly, what are we expecting because when I don't use post finish my data.
Just prepare to be scared. We are literally, when you say we are wishing you a scary Christmas, prepare to be scared. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't remember the last time anyone made a film as scary in Nigeria that is as scary as what we want to put out. You know, it's we did like just 21 don't do it, so just we can go to.
So next tomorrow,
Yeah,
we'll be watching it where?
on YouTube. How goes the TV?
Well, because of the way I've seen, and because virtually everybody involved in the production circles around me.
Oh, okay.
So if I open my status, it's like you, Sopolo, Trap Boy, Miracle, like it's lined up. I'm like,
so not Captain.
These people want to
be world.
But the truth is, if this unity and force, energy, is applied in every other job emanating from here, I think in a very few years, our voices will be heard. It's not like it's not heard already, but I think our voice will be heard more.
I don't know if they come southeast. Like, it's gonna be like, it's southeast is. How do I put it? Sorry. So Lagos is getting to the point of saturation in terms of film production. Lagos is actually a very small place. Yes. So unless someone with big money develops one of the aspects of Lagos to make its film film over time will gradually, like film production will gradually leave Lagos. So there are places like if Kula Folayan managed to get, it could be Ogun State, it could be Ibadan, and it could be Enugu. It has to be just, or maybe somewhere in the north. You don't fit pass any of this location. Or maybe luckily, if Anambra State, stands up, it could also be Anambra, but it's most likely because they already have some capacity to some extent that it's helping it.
Because I was discussing with somebody yesterday, and he mentioned he has planned on building his film studio in the east. There is one already existing in Omo, but due to the insecurity thing, it's currently not happening. But then the man built it. He had affiliation with Hollywood School Academy, both sound and visual. I think that was the basic he wanted to do. And at 2022, it was already involved. But then after the insecurity thing, he paused. I hope he resumes next year.
Insecurity of their money don't finish.
Actually, that artist was not fun that period. Yeah. So it was basically insecurity because all the buildings were complete. They were doing the interiors as at the time I was having the communication link with them. They were really doing the interior, so I don't think it was fun. So, but then Southeast wake up. There is a lot more coming here. You can see already. There's a lot more coming here, and investors put your money in film. I think that's our place. Billionaires need to start listening to.
The thing with money people is that they want to make more money. So we haven't had enough filmmakers to prove to them that this is
money venture.
Yes. And in their sort of sense of things, there are actually people cashing out. It's just that it's not a very shiny, but if they tell you how much those are guys are seeing from YouTube, you mad. That's why some of them don't even want to listen to them, and that will now give you a middle person. But the thing is, once one or two persons prove that if you put money in film in the East, it will be successful, and then go begin begging for money. You don't need to beg them. That's how money is. You don't beg, like you do what you have to do.
It's like you call to producers.
Yeah.
Convince our big men to give money to the industry because he showed me that money did this come. Yeah. And then there are investors who are willing to give you that money. Just bring something reasonable to the table. Look at the business aspect of it and look at the return part of it. And then it's a sure deal. We are definitely getting there. We might not be there yet, but we're already there. Somehow, step by step, they say it's only 1,000 miles starts with one. And I am very sure that we've crossed 10 steps. We are still heading there. And soon, we'll arrive at our destination. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends. Once again, it's Creatives Converse, and Ebuka, it's a pleasure having you today in the studio. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.